2021. Last week I talked to y'all about cutting up fabric that had been donated to Linus, designated by the person that sorts the fabric to be 8.5 inch squares. I took on that job of cutting them up. I have since then gotten rid of all of that. I had a member contact me and ask me for those. So I've handed all those off, with the exception of a few. And while I was doing that, I started cutting up some of my own Linus donations that I had set aside. In the process of doing that, which is one of the reasons I love cutting up fabric like this, I got inspired to actually make some quilt tops. So those of you that have been around for a while will remember that I did, when Jennifer O and I had our BFF retreat in Cloudcroft about 2.5 years ago. Can't believe it's been that long. I had taken this groovy fabric from a donation that someone had. It was all like weird offcuts, like somebody had maybe made some pajamas out of it. Or I had taken that and some yellow, solid yellow I think, and solid orange that had also been donated at the same time, and I had turned that into a quilt top. I went through all the leftovers. I cut up what was left into as many 8.5 inch squares as I could. And then if it was too small for that, I cut it into 4.5 inch squares so that I could do some 4 patches to use with the 8.5 inch squares in a quilt. And this is my top. Some of the 4 patches of the 4.5 inch squares, the floral prints, these prints kind of down here in the middle that are kind of groovy looking, those were actually part of a charm pack that somebody gave me, or I bought at Big Lots or something years ago and had never even cut into. I don't know if I did it at retreat or not, but I had made a quilt out of these prints, the dots, out of the dots prints, and the giraffes. I had 2 giraffes left. I dug through for more giraffes in my Linus fabric, and I found this guy that I cut out of some fabric, and the guy down here with the hearts and the giraffes, and decided I could make that work. I think I have 1 of these solid grays left to use on the back, if I remember rightly. I ran out of light, so I dug through my fat quarters. I had ordered some fabric from Thousands of Bolts in the spring, and it was all different versions of this dot right here, and so I felt like that went well enough. So there's that. So that's number 2 that I got done in the past week. With Jennifer O talking about doing the quilt for her surgeon, using her chocolate box pattern, I remembered, and I found it as I was going through all my Linus fabrics for cutting. I found a baggie that had a chocolate box quilt top in progress from our very first Sandbox Sisters retreat. It was me and Jennifer O and Amber. We met at that same little house that we met at a couple of years ago. And this was in 2015, I believe we looked that up. So, and I had started the chocolate box quilt. I had pre-cut all of the strips. This is before I had an AccuQuilt. I had pre-cut all of the sections and was using up a bunch of fabric that was donated. I was trying to use all donated fabric for this top, and so it was going to end up being scrappy. And I managed to get 2 blocks complete at retreat, and then clearly after that I was just too drunk to care or something. I don't know. I got busy doing something else. I never finished it. Since she was working on a chocolate box quilt, I felt like now was the time to finish this chocolate box quilt. And rather than use the other scrappy fabrics I had in it, I only used the yellow Yo Gabba Gabba. I still have no idea what this show is. But I wanted to keep this a fairly small quilt because my understanding is it's like a preschool age TV show. It was back in 5 years ago. I don't know if it is anymore. So here is that. And some of my strips were the wrong size, the green ones. So I dug through my stash and I found the gray, so that I could get one more and have enough to do a 3x3 quilt. And I actually really like having that one pop of gray in there. I think it's fun. Thought I had dug through all of it to find all the green strips that I had pre-cut. And then when I was putting the rest of the leftovers away into a scrap bin, I found the rest of the green strips. And I was like, yeah, I'm not taking that apart. This one is done. So that's 3 Linus quilt tops completed over the past week, since the last time I saw you. My work place was closed yesterday in observance of the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. On Sunday, I decided I really need to get Braden's quilt done. I'm kind of all over the place. So I got out all the patterns that I still had left to make. They are paper piece blocks that I designed as part of this pattern. And I decided, yeah, I'm getting these done. I want to get this quilt top done so I can start thinking about how I'm going to quilt it. I got all those patterns out. I hadn't even cut the patterns out yet. Got everything cut up and started piecing the patterns. And yesterday I have all of the segments of those blocks done. I just need to piece those segments together. I got 3 tops done in the past week, and one of them on the weekend completely. And then I made a ton of progress on Braden's quilt over the weekend. I feel really great about how much I got done over the past week. That's it for me. I had a really productive week. I look forward to watching y'all's videos, and I will see you next week. Bye!